If you're thinking of starting a recording studio in 2025, watch this video. Hi, welcome to the channel. My name's Sebastian. You are watching this YouTube channel and this recording studio, Verbatim Records. I'm based out of Puerto Rico. All the relevant links down below. Before we get started, I did want to go ahead and invite you to like this video, comment down your thoughts below, and hit that subscribe button with a little bell notification so you can check out each and every time I upload. I'm trying to be very consistent with it this year. Appreciate you for taking the time to join me. So today we are going to be talking about setting up your recording studio in your bedroom or wherever you're going to be setting this in 2025. And I want to jump in right into number one, and that is setting the stage. So what do I mean by this? Where are you going to be located? It is easier now today more than ever to set up something like a recording studio, even if you have less than ideal environments. So things like a lot of really good plugins that help with noise suppression, good mics, which we'll cover later on, that don't have to break the bank. You used to have to invest so much money and time and effort to getting the right place with the right acoustics, and that is not the case anymore. However, you do have to choose a place. I know there are a lot of people that like to just do everything off a laptop, and maybe they'll go to their local Starbucks and they'll mix beats there and things like that. And, you know, that's all well and good. But if you're trying to run a recording studio, you're going to have people coming in. You're going to have people recording their instruments, their voice, or whatever you have. And you really want to set a specific place for people. If I'm doing this in my house, do I have like a spare bedroom? How am I going to treat that bedroom? What's going to happen with it? Especially if you're working with vocals, this is a huge thing to consider because you want it to be a place that is naturally pretty quiet. You're not like right next to a busy street, or you have like thin walls, you know, and we'll talk about those things in a couple moments, but you really want that number one thing that you should consider. Where are you going to be located? And please make an effort to really think about it, because this is a very important thing going forward. Point number two that I want to talk to you today, and that is gear. That is the word that I think every musician, or at least most musicians, will pretty much salivate towards, and that is, you know, just the prospect of buying new and exciting gear. I absolutely love talking shop, even if it's things that I don't know a whole lot about, just kind of hearing other people's perspective. It's amazing. And on the top of gear, you know, you've probably heard this said a million times. You do not need thousands of dollars of equipment to get good recordings. You just need good equipment, and good equipment is no longer exceedingly expensive. It is very accessible to get a good quality microphone, a good quality pair of headsets and monitors and interfaces. It's still relatively all in the very budget range. And you've heard other productions that I've made on the channel, and you've seen that the value that I'm able to get out of these things, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is microphone, and I'm going to show off two microphones here. The very first one is what I call the poor man's 7B, and this is the Shure MV7X. This is a great overall mic to start with. This is a dynamic microphone. It is the poor man's 7B because the frequency response of the microphone is very similar to the 7B. You can look up comparison videos of the MV7 versus the 7B, and you'll realize, same as I did, that they don't sound too terribly different. And this does not have to go with a cloud lifter. This is just a regular XLR mic. They do sell a somewhat more expensive USB alternative as well, where it has the XLR and the USB out. I just opted for XLR. Great little mic. And I mentioned I'm using some condensers for right now what I'm using for the voiceover. This mic is off into the side. And this is the SE Electronics SE7. I don't think that that's gonna focus, but doesn't matter. This is a great little kind of pencil condenser microphone. This is very commonly used for something like an overhead, but As you can tell from my voice, it can sound really good on vocals, especially if you put a nice compressor in front of it and do some good EQ moves. It can sound really, really good. These are sold in pairs. I believe they are $199 for the pair. Something for headphones. So this is a bit more of a subjective one. If you're gonna go for the actual powered monitors route or the headphones route, I suggest if you're just starting out, get headphones, because especially you probably won't have a treated room. These are the Mackie MC150. I also have the Bayer Dynamics 990 and the 770s as well. These are the phones that I actually use for mixing. They're open back, great headphones, but these are phenomenal headphones. I bought them just because when I needed to track vocals, I needed to be very quiet, especially when you're getting nice and close to the mic. I needed to minimize things like the click bleed, the instrument bleed, and just kind of get just the vocal out of the performance. And these definitely do the job. They're nice and big, and they really do a good job of sealing so you don't get any bleed or very little of it. I bought them for that purpose. I have actually mixed with these. They're not half bad. They're definitely not as detailed as the Bayer Dynamics. Those tend to be a little bit more sensitive on the higher end, and you can hear a little bit more detail. But there is something to be said that, you know, if a good mix is a good mix, it will sound good here as well as on other more expensive headphones. So these, really good option if you're just starting out. And then finally, in terms of an interface, I have been using the M Audio Air interfaces for a number of years now. Right now, I am running the Air 19214 over here. I also do have the kind of 2-channel version where I used to have it a while ago. That's where I just started with everything. They're not terribly expensive. You don't have to necessarily go for the Universal Audio Apollos that start at like $800 for the cheaper ones. I know the Volts are a lot cheaper. They start at like $300, $200, but usually it's just for one input or two inputs. So this M Audio Air is 8 total inputs. It's a relatively inexpensive, really good interface, gets the job done. Aesthetically, it's nice. It's not super large as well. So those are my options when you're just starting out for gear. Number 3. So we're going to be talking a little bit about software. Now, this is a bit of a challenging topic, not because there's any shortage of software to choose from, just because it's really going to depend on your workflow and how you think of things. There is definitely free software. If you are a Mac user, you can use something like GarageBand, and that is completely free with your purchase of your Mac. You just have to download it. I know Pro Tools has, I think, Pro Tools First or Pro Tools 1. Something like that. That's usually, you can buy anything M Audio and they'll usually include that. Something like Reaper is not necessarily free, but it's like 40, 60 bucks, something like that. It's not super expensive. And even something like Logic, it's $200, but that's a single payment. Unlike other platforms that force you into a subscription model, it's just $199, one and done. I'm a Logic user, as you probably know. That's what I recommend, just because I really like the way that it's laid out, but I have a number of friends that use Ableton, Fruity Loops. So this is going to be very subjective to you, because ultimately it's not going to matter too much. So number 4, we are going to be talking soundproofing. So we have these panels up on the wall here. All these are some 2x4s, that's actually landscaping fabric, if you can believe that. You know, what they use to kind of like put the landscaping on houses. And on the inside is just rock wool, right? The Safe and Sound stuff. So those can be usually purchased at Home Depot, pretty much the entire thing. And these will run you about $40 a panel, not a whole lot. This is going to depend on, you know, where you're located in terms of materials and costs. But these are going to be, if you're going to be using outside monitors like I am, these are going to be invaluable. If you cannot afford this, and if you cannot have a room that is treated, you need to use headphones. This is not a negotiable. You need to have a space that is treated. Although people will listen to music in untreated spaces, you need to be able to make really good quality decisions, and you can only do that in a treated room. It doesn't have to be crazy flat. That is, in fact, actually impossible and maybe not even as recommended. But you want a nice balanced room that you can get used to mixing in. And that is, by and large, one of the most important things on this list. Do not get the foam ones that Amazon sells, like those little thin foams. You are going to be wasting your money. Do not use those at all, 100%. Stay away from them. Number 5, we are going to be talking about knowledge. So this is hands down the most important thing that you need from this list. So you have your setting and your mics and all this stuff that you need to start. And if you don't know how to use it, your mixes are still going to suck, like mine did in the beginning. So you need to get trained up. You need to train up your ears. You need to follow people's advice and just kind of make your mixes in a way that just follows the trends for a while you kind of get your own ears situated and things like that. But it is very, very, very important that before you open your doors to anyone, you know your way around your DAW, you know how to treat your room, you know what microphones to use on voice, you know how to place those microphones, you know how to mix, you know where the drums go in a mix, where the vocal goes in a mix. So that knowledge is invaluable. That will separate a mediocre mixer from a good mixer. And if you want to be a good mixer, you want to just saturate yourself with a whole bunch of knowledge. There's so much that is free on YouTube. Not all of it is good, so be mindful of that. Just saturate yourself with tons and tons and tons of knowledge so you can get good quality mixes out your door. And there you have it. Those are 5 essential tips if you're looking to start your home studio in 2025. If you're looking to start today, and if you think that I missed something, drop it down below in a comment. I would love to go back and forth and just so we can all learn. If you learned something, I would like to ask you for a favor. Like this, comment it, share it with your friends. If you know someone that wants to start a studio in 2025, share this video with them. You know, help a fellow creator out. The more we help each other, the more we all grow. So that's going to be doing it for me. See you next time.